Grace mark is given to only those students. The time spent is totally depends on you. What is your potential? You should take a rest of 3 to 4 hours because you have the other mistake that most of students make is
CBSE 2025 board examinations have come. Today in this video, we will be covering entire last moment strategy for CBSE 2025 mathematics examination, which is going to be conducted on 8th of March 2025. We will be covering how you should revise your mathematics after your chemistry examination that is going to be held on February 27th, and we will also share important chapters, tips, strategies, mistakes, everything that you should be covering in your last moment from Prabhdeep Singh, who has scored 99 out of 100 in CBSE Mathematics 2024. So without any further ado, let's start this video. Make sure you like and share this video with your friends. Also, watch this video until the very end and comment down in the comment section that we will rock CBSE 2025. With that, let's switch our cameras to Prabhdeep Singh. Hi Prabhdeep.
Hello Bhaiya.
So our viewers are preparing for their boards. Now in this video, because you have scored 99 out of 100 in mathematics, I want you to share your mistakes, failures, strategy. What are the final moment strategies that students have to follow? Because just now they have given their JEE mains examination. Some of them might already have given physics and chemistry examinations and watching right now. So for all of those students, your juniors, please guide. Over to you.
mathematics. Mathematics is one of the most difficult subject of a JEE exam. Most of you would have given JEE and scored well in physics, chemistry, but not in mathematics, and tends that we have not scored good in JEE mains. For mathematics, what will we do in the boards? But in boards, the mathematics as compared to JEE is little easier side. So you can score very good marks in board examinations by revising the formulas and concepts before the examination. So let's start with the overall strategy. You only have that 7 or 8 days window between chemistry and mathematics exam. You should try to solve the NCERT in the first 3 days. That is, after getting your chemistry paper done on 27th Feb, you will come to home and you should relax for 3 to 4 hours, and after that you can start solving the NCERT. So first of all, on 27th of Feb, after the exam, you should relax for 3 to 4 hours and start studying at 10 p.m. and study up to 12 a.m. because in this window, 2-hour window, you will be easily able to solve 3 chapters, that is matrices, determinants or LPP. You can also take 3 hours. It totally depends on your potential and your speed of solving the questions. On 28th of February, you should try to solve chapters like probability, inverse trigonometric functions, and various chapters other than calculus part, because on 1st and 2nd March you should try to solve the calculus part from the NCERT, because that calculus part is very much important for all the basics of entire calculus. If you are able to solve the NCERT book, then you will be easily able to solve entire basic questions. And from 3rd and 4th March, I would rather try to solve some of the advanced questions from books like R.D. Sharma, Exam Idea, or you can also Modern's book and different questions which are difficult as compared to the NCERT then. And then on 5th and 6th of March, I would try to solve the previous year question papers and the sample papers which are provided by the CBSE board exam, because they are very crucial. If you solve previous year question papers, you will have an analysis of what kind of questions were asked and what can be asked to you in your upcoming board examination. And the sample paper might comprise of question of probability which is entirely different from the NCERT book or any question that you have solved. Then you might have an idea of what kind of question can be asked. And on the last day, which is 7th of March, the one day before the paper, I would rather suggest to on 7th of March, you should try to revise all the formulas, practice questions which you felt were difficult as compared to the other questions. For example, I am solving application of derivative question in which there is a cone inside a cylinder. You have to maximize the area or find the maximum, what is the relation between height and radius. So you can solve these kind of questions on the 7th of March so that it remains in your mind what was the approach used and how you have to solve it. And a very important tip for all the students, in between that 28th February and 7th March window, you should not try to learn any new concept, because learning new concept might result in forgetting the old concepts also. This was how you should plan your days between the examination.
Cool, Prabhdeep. Thank you so much for this. And now a quick note for all of you. Whatever is being shared by Prabhdeep, make sure you keep a note of everything. Now we will move to the next thing, that how you should plan your things after your examination of 27th February, how you should make your timetable or how you should plan your day. So how they should plan their day to get maximum out of that examination?
If I have mentioned rest, because if you come from examination, you should take a rest of 3 to 4 hours, because you have your brain has done a lot of mental exercise in chemistry paper for remembering that concepts and all those things, and your brain will be exhausted. If you will not take the rest, you might not be able to understand the concept. I come back at 5 p.m., I start studying at 5:30 p.m., and I solve the exercise of two to three chapters, and the next day when I open up, I'm totally blank that what I have done.
Correct.
That is a mistake. So you should relax for 1 to 2 hours and relax because brain is not a machine that you will keep using it and it will not get exhausted.
Correct, correct.
So rest is very much important. And for that how you should plan your day. If I was giving the exam, I would do first of all that NCRT must. In initial 2 to 3 days, you must solve the NCRT because NCRT is the key to basics of every chapter. If you have not solved NCRT, and if you are unable to solve NCRT, that means your basics are not clear. And if you are unable to solve, do not panic because you have a time. You can solve and you can learn the basics again. But it is not a new concept for you. You have learned it, but you are not able to remember what you have done. So you should solve that NCRT, and after that you will be easily able to do the rest of the questions. So let's start with planning of the days. As mentioned, the 27th of February, you should relax for 2 to 3 hours and do the NCRT questions of chapters like matrices, determinants,
And
LPP, and you can also combine inverse trigonometric functions because in the previous year paper, the inverse trigonometric functions were not a too big or too difficult chapter from my experience. So you can also combine that chapter if you are able to. If you are not able to, then do not take a too much burden on 27th February only. You can shift that on 28th of February. On 28th of Feb, you should try to solve relation and functions. It is a very important chapter because one 5-mark question is coming from past 3 to 2 years in the board examinations for proving that relation is reflexive, symmetric, and all those. And in the next chapter, you can solve inverse trigonometric function. If you have left it the previous night, then you should try to solve chapters probability. And after that, I would suggest you to solve three-dimensional geometry and vectors on the same day because these chapters are very much similar to each other. So you will be easily able to remember the concepts from both the chapters. And so you should try to solve these two chapters on the 1st of the March. They are a little bit of lengthy calculations and you should try to solve more questions from it because sometimes some tricky question might come from these chapters. And on the 1st of March only, you should try to solve continuity and differentiability. It is a small chapter. It will not take too much time for you. Then you should try to solve chapters like integration, or first of all, you should try to solve differential equations because differential equations is somewhat similar to that differentiability. You have to solve the differential equations by different methods. And then on the 2nd of March, you can shift to integration, application of integration and application of derivative. Integration and application of derivatives, these two chapters are very important because these comprises of majority of the paper, nearly 20 to 25% of marks, because application of derivative will consist of at least one case study. It is very much compulsory from 2 to 3 years that there will be one case study from application of derivatives. And integration, you all know that it is the one of the most important chapters from the +2 mathematics. And then on 2nd of March, up till 2nd of March, you should finish your NCRT portion. And then let's move to the 3rd of March. On 3rd of March, you can shift towards a little bit of more integration questions because more you practice integration, the more it will be easier for you to solve in the paper. And you should try to solve some complex questions as compared to the NCRT book. So the 3rd March is completely booked by the complex questions. And for March, after the 12 p.m., you should try to solve the previous year question papers from the last 3 years because you will be familiarized with the questions that were asked in the previous years. Then after, on the 4th March, after solving these previous year question papers, on the 5th of March, you can try to solve the sample question papers which are provided by the CBSE because they are very important because the questions sometimes are very much relative to those kind of questions. Then you are left with 6th and 7th of March. On 6th of March, you can try to solve some more questions from books like R.D. Sharma, Exam Idea, and Prabhdeep's or whatever book you follow. And on the 7th of March, I would suggest you to revise the formulas, do the questions which you might felt difficulty while solving in the NCRT or difficult questions. If you felt difficulty while solving application of derivative question or any question, you should try to solve that because on the next day you will be easily able to remember the approach and what concept you used in that question. So this was a strategy for all the days between that 27th February and 8th March paper.
So now you have got an entire strategy, but how much time they should spend studying entire mathematics and all in a day?
The time spent is totally depends upon you. What is your potential? I would suggest that between that 8 days, you should study for 8 hours at least, because after that you will not be have to study for 2 months. You are totally relaxed for 2 months.
Correct.
And mathematics is the last major subject examination. After that there is English in 2 days, and after there might be fifth subject, whichever you have choose. So at least you should study for 8 to 10 hours, and more than 12 hours you should not study, because as I said, brain is not a machine. You should not exhaust it.
Understood.
There is break is very much compulsory, because after studying 2 to 3 hours you should have at least 30 minutes break for relaxing that brain cells and all the muscles.
Cool. This is how topper strategy works, and you should not follow exactly. You can also wake up in the morning early and sleep at night earlier. So that is your choice. And next, let's move to the tips and mistakes. I wanted you to share your mistakes or tips, whatever, in the final moment that they have to follow, that they should not miss. Over to you.
So one of the tips is, in that 8 days or all that 1.5 month window, your phone should be a little away from you.
Okay.
Because phone is a major distraction. And the next tip is that you should improve a little bit your calculation speed, or calculations, that you do not do calculation mistakes while doing calculation in the paper, because when you come out of the paper and you tally the answer, you feel that there is a small mistake. It feels very bad that you have solved entire question correctly and there is a small mistake at the end of the paper, due to which you will not get the full marks. And the second mistake is that while answering the MCQs, generally what happens in maths question paper, when it is set, MCQs answers are written in such a way that there will be a very small difference between two options. If an option is x square plus 1, the other option will be x square minus 1 to confuse you. There is a major difference of plus minus, but sometimes what happens, there is a question, for example, of differentiability, continuity, or any other thing. It is pi by 2 into pi plus 2. Sometimes rather than writing this way, they write it pi square by 2 plus pi by pi. They write in simplified form. So you should try to solve the answer to the question in such a way that is given in the option only. And you should double check the option before writing your answer. So one of the mistake which I saw very different students making is that they neglect MCQ and case study while solving or preparing for the mathematics exam. They say that MCQ comprises of only 1 mark. If we are left with 1 mark, that we do not care. But 1 mark is also very important, because sometimes what happens, you are able to solve the entire paper, but most of your numbers are deducted from MCQ. You feel very bad that you have not able to solve that 1 mark question, and if you had solved that, you have scored more. So try practicing more and more MCQs. The other mistake that most of our students make is not answering the questions. A question comes in the examination, I would never suggest anyone to leave the question blank. If I answer that question, sometimes examiner provide you half or 1 mark by seeing that you have answered the question. Sometimes what happen, if MCQ have wrong answers or options are not correct, so the grace mark is given to only those students which have written something in it. If you do not write anything in it, you will not be given grace mark. So try to attempt each and every question. And the other mistake which most of students make is they ask to their friends how much chapters you are done with. And sometimes the friend has done more chapters than you, then they panic that he have done, or he or she have done more chapters than me. What will happen? I will not be able to score good marks. Do not do these kind of things, as it will only panic you. So do not do these kind of things, asking the friends, and do not panic. If he or she has done more chapters than you, you can also do those chapters easily and solve the question paper easily. Be confident and do not panic. So these were some tips from my side and the mistakes that most of our students make.
Thank you so much, Prabhdeep, for all these insights. And you guys, please, again I'm mentioning, please make sure you start from the day one itself. As Prabhdeep mentioned, take rest between your preparations, study for 2 to 3 hours, take some rest, again study and plan wisely. Don't study too much. Don't panic if some of your friends are studying more than you, or someone is not studying, or if you are not memorizing, or if you are unable to recall some of the things that you have already practiced in the day one. And all other mistakes and tips are already shared by Prabhdeep, so please follow them carefully. And if you are someone watching until this very end, and if you want to connect with Prabhdeep, I will link his LinkedIn account in the description. Along with it, there will be a Telegram group. And also, if you are someone who are really interested towards computer science, then I would suggest you to check out Scalar School of Technology, which will be also linked in the description. And if you have any further doubts or queries or any other video suggestions, please do comment in the comment section. With that, thanks for watching this video and all the best.